So, for today's video, I'm going to continue from my last chemotherapy video and talk to you about the side effects of chemotherapy. Now, of course, I can't go through all the side effects. I will link some of my favourite websites though down below that have a really comprehensive list of some of the side effects that you can experience with chemotherapy. But instead, I'd like to talk to you about some of the ones that I experienced myself, and not only say them, but also share my experience with them and what having it was actually like, and some of the methods that I used to cope with them. Of course, a lot of these coping methods were quite unique for me. They may not work for most people, but I thought it's best if I still share them. Otherwise I'll have loads of comments asking about what is it that I did to help this or that, and well, let's just save all of that and I'll just share directly with you what it is that I did to help with some of these side effects. So I'm adding that perspective to this video. So, side effects. Where to begin? Well, I feel like the first one to begin with is kind of obvious. 1. Nausea, vomiting. I feel as though this one is synonymous with chemotherapy. We see and we hear about it all the time with chemotherapy. But I'm going to tell you a different side to it. I was receiving chemo, like actively pumping it into my veins. Shortly after being administered, like a few hours, I would start to feel really quite nauseous, and a day later, even vomiting. But, as I said, there's a different side to it. 21st century medicine and medical teams are amazing. I think I'm going to be saying that a lot through this video, but they really are. And so, because of that, medications that they give you then for nausea and vomiting are super effective. The only times that I actually felt like I was particularly nauseous was when I had forgotten to take my medications, or if I took them in the wrong timely intervals. Which in that case, the nurses were then able to give me some faster acting relief, and that made me feel so much better. Almost immediately. They are amazing. And so are the medications too. Both the nurses, the medications, the doctors that then prescribe the medications just really helps. And if you wanted to know which ones I was on particularly, it was a combination between either metoclopramide or ondansetron. The wafers of those are amazing. And then some dexamethasone, which is a little steroid. No, not that type. It's one that would help with your appetite. And I mean, like, really help with your appetite. And that helps you eat, which makes you feel so much better again. So whilst nausea and vomiting does occur, they manage it so amazingly now. Some people may not experience it at all. And the second side effect, obviously, is hair loss, which as you can see, I've recovered from. But I made a pretty good video about that. I'll link it down in the description below if you want to hear more about hair loss during chemotherapy. But let's move on. Number 3, weight loss. Weight loss is super common, and the cause of it, well, it's multifactorial. But I don't want to explain that. Instead, I want to describe the implications of weight loss so that you know what you can expect if you're going to lose that much weight, or if you know someone who will. Now, I don't mean any spinach soup weight loss or something of the sort. No. Over about 3 to 4 weeks, I lost approximately 18 kilograms. That's almost 20 kilograms, and that's just over 40 pounds to the Americans here. And I'm not sure if you've noticed, but there isn't a lot to lose really in my build to begin with. Unless, of course, it's my head. Like, it's massive, look at it! And there's not a lot in there either. Anyway, back to the weight loss. So with that weight loss, I lost everything. Fat, muscle, and I guess hair too. But just everything. And so what that means is that it took me a while to even gain the energy to just raise my head up when I was laying in bed. It hurt to sit upright because the bones on my bum, ischial tuberosities, were piercing into the flat benches that I could sit on, and it would hurt too much to sit upright. You don't appreciate the padding that your bum gives you until you don't have it. It took me a while to have the energy to walk up and down the hospital hall, as I found myself needing to rest midway due to the exhaustion. A month before this, I had just run 20 kilometers comfortably as part of some training I was doing. Now, I was painfully out of breath after like a 20-meter shuffle. None of my clothes fit anymore. I was getting really cold because I had nothing to really insulate me. No more fat, no muscle. It was just bone and skin almost. So everywhere I went on, I had layers on. Even when it was sunny and warm, I would feel cold. So cold. So I know that that can happen. And oh yeah, what I did to cope with that some aggressive Ben & Jerry's and Messina ice cream consumption. Oh, and also Uber Eats helped a lot. I mean, the hospital gives you food, and I ate all of that food, but I needed to gain my weight back, so I've never been so aggressive in my eating style, but I ate a lot of food. On to the next. 4. Metallic taste. Now this one I read while I was in uni, and I was like, oh yeah, that. But actually having it ruins your quality of life significantly. You actually start to feel depressed because your mouth feels and tastes disgusting. No food and no fluid has any flavour or taste. It's just absent of all sensation, as this disgusting residual flavour resides in your mouth. Relieving it is really difficult. It is unfortunately one of those things that you just have to let pass with time. But I think it's important to know that this is a side effect, and it's one that has a bigger impact on you personally than you may conceive. I was just so surprised that it did. I was so surprised by the impact it had on my mental health during this. So I feel as though it's important to let you know that you could experience that. But it does pass in time, and that is awesome when it happens. Now these next side effects are a bit more serious. It happened particularly in my induction round. That was the most intense round of chemotherapy in the beginning. To say that they were horrible to endure during, and I feel as though I still relive some of them now, and I'm still haunted by some of those memories, at least the ones that I have. So the 5th side effect I want to talk about is mucositis. This is really common with chemotherapy, and what this means is any mucous membranes in your body become inflamed. That means pain, swelling, and thinning of these membranes, meaning you are more likely to bleed from these areas too. So one shocking experience was that I was bleeding from every hole, and I mean every hole. I blew my nose, that would cause a bleed. I would go to pee, that would cause a bleed. I was getting some pretty violent diarrhea, and that would bleed. It was disgusting, and it hurt a lot. And you can get some numbing gels and creams to try and assist, but it's just quite distressing at first. You also struggle a lot with very dry lips and very dry skin, particularly around your feet and your hands. And I really struggled with my dry lips, like big time. This isn't your old windswept dry lips. This was cracked, red raw, nothing was relieving it for a while, until my mum found these really good products that were so good. And I'm not endorsed by them, I'm not sponsored by them, I'm just sharing them with you to show what really helped me. First, used this ointment. It was really helpful. Use that on the skin to all the dry areas. It really helped hydrate everything. This lip balm. This was really good, so helpful and useful on my lips. It just, yeah, this was the only thing that actually gave me relief in my lips. And so they were the 2 things I used during this to try and help some of the symptoms that I could manage. The rest I just had to wait to pass. Otherwise, just be prepared for these symptoms to come. Talk to the nurses and the doctors as well on the team. They are so experienced in all of these. They know what some people go through, and they know how they've managed them too. So always talk to them, because they have so much knowledge. It's so invaluable. They're geniuses when it comes to this, and so I have to recommend so strongly to talk to them, because they will help out so much. Now on to the next symptom I want to talk about, number 6, and that is neutropenia, specifically neutropenic colitis. Now, as a consequence of chemotherapy, you get neutropenia, which is low/no neutrophils. That makes you super susceptible to infections, which is my next point to cover. But here I want to talk about neutropenic colitis. Now what it is essentially is, because you have low/no neutrophils, that reduces the immune regulation of your gut. And what that means is that all the bugs that live in your gut start to proliferate and are unregulated. And this causes a lot of inflammation. Inflammation to the point that I was laying flat, breathing rapidly, and screaming and kicking, in some cases of extreme pain. It was horrible. All I remember is waking to this intense stabbing pain in my gut, knowing that I could do nothing for it. That intensified and intensified until I was kicking and screaming, knowing that would do nothing, but knowing I had to express this pain in some way, as the nurses would then come rushing in with the morphine, inject it into my abdomen, and the pain would settle almost immediately, and then I'd pass out. And that's horrible. During that period, I just woke up to some of the most intense pain I'd ever felt, scream for help, and then fade away in a drug-induced sleep almost, to then wake up in what would seem like just a few seconds, in excruciating pain again, to then repeat the cycle. Thankfully it wasn't just a few seconds in between. Time really passed a lot between them. This was scary and hard for my family to experience when they were there, and my friends. I guess I share that to let you know how difficult this can be for you to experience or for you to see. Super dupers are amazing during mucositis as well. Like, so good. Super dupers were great during mucositis. Can't recommend them enough. The hardest experience in my own experience with chemotherapy would be the next one. Number 7, psychosis / delirium. Now, in my induction round during neutropenia, I got an infection with RSV, respiratory syncytial virus, tumor-lysis syndrome, and an electrolyte imbalance. Altogether, this completely threw my body out of whack, and there are about 20 days now during that induction that I have no recollection of anything. Maybe 2 minutes maximum over the whole 20 days of very hazy memories that I can recall. What I do know though, from people that told me, and some slight recollection at least, is that I went into a psychosis / delirium during this phase. I was emotionally and mentally absent from what I would consider my normal self. Some funny stories I was told at least during this include me lecturing a nurse about periods. I don't even know much about periods now, I don't know what I could have said then. And then telling the doctors that the super dupers were the only reason I survived. And, heck, I needed to go to the toilet so bad that I ripped all of my cannulas out, fell flat to the floor, released bowels on the floor whilst hemorrhaging out of my wounds that I ripped all the needles out of, crawled into the bathroom just so I could get onto the toilet, to then have a nurse jump onto my arm, apply pressure with their hand directly onto my wounds, as I then look up and say, in a very tired expression, "Sorry, but I had to go." To then some more serious and frightening episodes where I was screaming and crying that I'm not ready to die, and begging them not to kill me, verbally abusing the staff, the nurses, the doctors, even my family members and friends that were there with me. I don't remember a lot of that. I do maybe have a few seconds of recollection of those moments, but it's as if I was viewing those moments that I can recall through goggles. Like I was wearing VR goggles and I'm just watching something happen. Not that I'm actually involved or part of it. It's scary to think how absent my memory is from this whole period. It's even scary to think how I acted and then treated people as well. I can't ever get that back. And I'm stuck in this phase now, where all of a sudden, in my normal life now, I get these random triggers that bring back vivid and horrible memories I don't even know exist, and I can't remove them. I'm embarrassed, I'm ashamed, and there's not much I can do about it. So to everyone I was horrible to during this time, I am so sorry. It was not me, but that's not an excuse either. I suppose I share that with you, so that if you know someone going through this, know that you may lose them, and you'll feel as though you don't know them anymore. But please, please try to hang on there for them. They are there, and they're fighting as hard as they can. It's just, they're lost in this phase right now, and they're stuck there until the time passes. But hopefully when the time comes, they will return to you. That's my video on the main side effects I experienced with some of the more serious and scary ones, particularly at the end. As I said, there's a lot more that I could talk about and that you will go through, but these were the ones that I wanted to express my own experience of, particularly. Now, I'm experiencing a residual effect of these memories that come to me from random triggers in life, and that's my next stage of recovery now. That's the side effect I deal with. But I've got to stay strong, because I've got to be strong for those who were strong for me during that time. And that's the side effects. I hope that helps. Please write any comments, any questions you have down below, or even shoot me a private message if there's questions you wanted to ask. And share also below some of the side effects you've experienced or you know people have experienced. Let's really make this a great resource for people to maybe turn to and find out more. I'm really interested to hear what you've gone through yourself. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please feel free to like, subscribe, share, and as I said, as always, comment down below. I love the comments so much, it's so great to interact with all of you. And I look forward to making the next video to hopefully share some more insight into my cancer journey. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys in the next one, okay?